Good day, YouTube. 12th of January, 2020. And making a mess in the bus. Changing speakers. Look at this mess. I'm changing lights. We've got new speakers in. Sorry for the light, but I'm changing lights. So look what I am left with these old incandescent change to LED bulbs. I know you can't see it, but most of the LEDs are burned out on these things. But I am left with these holes, so I'm changing lights, but I have to make a board to cover the hole to put new LED fixtures in. The fluorescents are barely working. But that is not my issue. My issue is this. Why do I have the converter open and meters and stuff? I am putting a new stereo head unit in the front. Get up here where the light will help. And also putting voltmeter in. I added a fan, which I had on the shelf, almost matches perfectly to the other one. And USB charge ports on the side here. On the other side as well, and a cigarette lighter plug, so for future electronic needs. So I've got this menagerie of wires going on here. But watch what happens. This is the plug right here that I'm just going to plug into the radio. Watch what happens when I do that. If I can line it up. I'm going to show you the lights in here. I can do this one-handed. Ready? Look at that. You see the lights get brighter? Just by plugging this plug in, the radio is not on. I actually checked it with my voltmeter, and the output of my converter goes from 12.5 volts to 18.5 volts by simply plugging that plug into the radio. Now, I am an electrician. I've talked to co-workers, talked to our engineer, talked to my dad, talked to friends. Why in the world would this do that? It doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't. But one of my friends suggested, well, my engineer friend suggested that somehow there is a signal from here going back to the converter of some sort, telling it to max out or something. Now, we're just guessing here, but my other buddy suggested let's put a diode in, so that, you know, a diode is a one-way valve for electricity, so we'll get 12 volts to the radio, but it's not going to be able to send anything back to that to tell it to change whatever it's doing. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I bought some diodes, 10 amp rated diodes. If I can take this apart again while you stare at my mess. So there's the diodes, 10 amp rated. I could turn every light in the place on, but none of them work very good. So that's what I'm going to do. If anybody else comes across a situation like this, which I've never heard of it, couldn't find anything on the internet, at least be able to figure out maybe how to fix it. Because I got to put another one of these stereo units in the back bedroom as well. I don't know if there's enough light back here to see by. Because there's another old radio right there. And some speakers there. Also hard to see. The lights in here, everything, all the lights just are horrible. So anyway, I got to do that one too, so I got to figure this out. And I've already bought all the audio equipment. I'm not taking it back. All right. Let me put that diode in line. Excuse me. And I'll turn you back on and tell you if it worked or not. Here's my diode. I tested it with a test light. You know, I hooked the clip of the test light up to the negative side of a battery, touched the point of the test light here, and then the positive side of the battery here, so that we know it's going to flow in this position. I put some red tape on this red wire here to know that the power source is here, the radio connection is here. I splice these wires in so I could use wire nuts on this connection. So I'm going to put this in line and it will try again. Alright, I have it tied in. I'm going to plug it in. Are you ready? Hope it works. Alright, it's plugged in. Hang on, I got to use my hand as a brace to clip it all the way. I think it's there. Sorry, I don't know what you're looking at. Hang on. Well, gang, it doesn't work. It'll let voltage pass, but no current pass. The radio will not come on. I can get the test light to light in one direction, all the way to the radio, but it won't turn on. I take it out, radio comes on, lights get brighter. Dang. Alright, I'm really scratching my head on this thing. I'll get back to you. Alright, we've now fast forwarded. Today's about the 18th of January. It's a Saturday. And what I determined was, I mean, this just defies anything that I understand. I put the diode in line with the power to the radio. Sorry about the lighting. And I could test, there's a fuse on the back of this radio. I could test power there, and it allowed voltage to go through the diode to the radio, but the radio would not come on even though it tests that it has power there. I take the diode out and the radio comes on. Go figure. Somebody that knows, let me know. So I got frustrated and I thought, well, what I have is a modern radio and a 1980s converter. And I also have in the, see those glass fuses? You know, I always thought, well, I'll change those out one day. So some of the circuits are landed in the inverter glass fuses there. Some are landed there. It'd be nice to change those out to modern fuses and in one fuse block. That'd make me happy. But I have this old converter and maybe it's time to change it out. Alright, so I got frustrated and I ordered everything new. So here's the new converter. What I have existing is a 45 amp with an old school battery charger. This is 55 amp with a smart charger. And then I ordered a 12 circuit marine type fuse block that takes the modern plastic fuses. So today's task will be, let's change the converter out. Put the new converter in, get the new fuse block in. I'll take my time, make it look decent. And then we'll hook the radio up. And by gosh, it better work. Because I've thrown a lot of money and effort at fixing this thing. And I need to get some forward momentum on this bus. We still haven't even been able to use it yet. We bought this thing in July. Here it is January. So I'm going to just, there's not much that I can film here. I'm going to get this old converter out. It's hardwired right there. There's a circuit coming to it. The new one's got a pigtail on it. Plug it in. So I'll install an outlet in this compartment. It'd be useful for something else anyway. So we'll get an outlet in. We'll get this old converter out. We'll mark all the wires and make a list of what we know goes where. And in the end, we'll make a nice little panel schedule for it. And we'll clean it up best we can. And we'll go from there. So I'll turn you back on when I have something more interesting to show you. In the meantime, I got some work ahead of me. Well, I've labeled all the wires, got everything unhooked, got her unbolted. Alright, we're out of there. Out with the old, in with the new. think I'll straighten up some wiring in here. Get the outlet mounted for the plug in the new converter. And go from there. Alright, I ran down to Home Depot. I got a big long ground bar because all the ground wires in there are like tied together with wire nuts and stuff. Want to break all that up, get them landed and decent. Got some parts for the outlet and so forth. I'm surprised I didn't have them laying around. Probably if I scrounged long enough, I could have scrounged them up, but I'm in a hurry. No, I'm not in a hurry. I just don't want to take time. Anyway, let me, this is pretty boring stuff, so I'm going to get these things mounted and start moving wires around and get the outlet mounted and so forth. Probably take an hour or so. And I'll catch you guys in a little bit with an update. Okay guys, we got the new converter in. I'll show it to you here in detail in a second. But it comes down to, I know it's just a bunch of wiring. If I connect the power to the radio, do the lights get brighter again? That's the $100 question. Well, it's about $250 question. It's about what it amounts to. So here we go. Lights did not get brighter. And the radio is powered up. That's cool, huh? So we accomplished the goal. That's cool. I'm going to unhook it. Let the radio go out. I'll hook that up tomorrow. It's been a long day. All right, we're going to jump down here and I'll show you the installation of the new converter. Show you what. Guess I hit something. It all went off. Get a light on the subject here. So we started off replacing the converter with this new one. Alright, I'm not going to leave a link. It's just on eBay. All the stuff I bought was on eBay. If I leave a link, it won't be there next time. It's a Power Max 55 amp with a smart battery charger. So it's definitely an upgrade, both in capacity and a battery charger, than what I had. So we've made a connection to the battery with the cable, the blue cable on the right. One on the left comes up and feeds. Start off with a 100 amp circuit breaker. If you haven't seen these, they're pretty common. Marine environment, stereo installation, stuff like that. If you press the red button, can I do it? Will I look in the camera? If you press the red button, you can open it and isolate. So you'll see that the lights in the coach, if I press it, will go off. It flips this little lever out here, which you can then close. Lights come back on. So basically I'm using this as a disconnect for the entire fuse panel. Again, 100 amp rated, you can get them smaller or larger. I think up to 200 amp. This 100 amp rated, good to go. I used parallel number 10s. In the electrical world, if you get above a certain wire size, paralleling conductors is fairly common, and just kind of keeps things neat, flexible, etc. Number 10 wire and open air that short is good for 45-50 amps. Parallel 90-100 amps, good to go. There's a cover that goes over this fuse panel. I'm not real happy with the fuse panel. Some of the inserts getting the fuse in is extremely hard. So I'm going to work with it a little bit. I'm going to try to decide whether I make them replace it or if it's okay. This is the type of panel, if a fuse blows, it turns a red light on. I like that. That's 12 circuit, and I needed every one of them. And then that's my ground bus. This didn't have one. Everything was wire nutted together and stuff like that. I didn't like that, so cleaned it up. Took some time. This is certainly a day project, actually. You know, I don't work that fast, but getting everything tied together. So there's a bond wire that's green that I tied into the ground bus. The negative from the converter is the white wire. Tied it into the ground bus. This is all the DC stuff, right? The 12 volt DC stuff. And everything's fused. I just stuck fuses in it at random. I'll sort it out and change the fuses out. Like I said, I was having some of those sockets were extremely stiff, like beat them in with a hammer stiff. But maybe they'll be okay, and then I'll decide. Something you can do, I might do a demo on this on another video sometime, is you can take a blown fuse like that, or purposely blow one, and take your meter, put it on amps, and put it across the fuse with your load on it, and it'll send the load through the meter and back. Most meters are only good for 10 amps. They're fused at 10 amps, so you want to be a little bit careful there. You could also take an old amp meter out of a vehicle and put some leads on that and go across one of these fuses like that, or you could take the wire off and do that, but it's easier just to use an old blown fuse and see how much current you have going across there, so you know how to fuse these close. I mean, you don't have to get that close, but if you've got a 6 amp load, you probably don't need a 20 amp fuse. You know, go to 15 or something like that. Just a little tip. Anyway, that's going to complete this video. I'm going to finally finish my stereos installation. This has been weeks of trials and tribulations. But the bottom line is we got an upgraded converter. It was probably something I was going to end up doing anyway, just because what was in here was, you know, so old. And we got her in, got it done. It was a good project. Glad it's done. And we're going to call it a day. Come in tomorrow and start cleaning up my mess and start buttoning up the stereo installation, and then see what's next. And if it's an interesting subject, whatever is next, I'll fire up the video and take you for a ride with us. So, gang, thanks for watching, comment, and subscribing. I appreciate if you give me a thumbs up on this video. It would certainly help to promote my channel. That really needs the help. Gang, catch you next time.